That's how you do it. All right. Good show, I think it's going to be a good show. It's a beautiful Wednesday here. We're prepping. We're getting things done. Things are getting done. Yeah, sit down. Come on. Look at all these beautiful people making this show happen up here. We got Harvey, Woodwell, Cindy, Aaron, Heather, Jennifer. Who's that? That's Dell and Kevin, James. And why did she fly? And Sister and Preston, Green Mountain Girl, Joel, Heath, David Harmonic, Cindy, Andrews, Graham, David, Jillian, Justin, Catherine. Hey, Catherine, Haley, Jason Page, Steph Fordyth, Logie, Michael New, Carrie Ann Margovich, Champagne Supernova, Kyle Anderson, or Candor as we like to call him, Legion James, Amanda Barry, happy birthday coming up there, baby, Eric Bowles, Jim Williams, James Calhoun, Catherine Stillwell, Julia Black, Nancy Buckingham, Danny Ballard, who I've got blocked right now. Hope you're out there. Probably pretty mad at me, but that's vitriol for you. That's right, Will Tyndale and Steph and Flugie and Michael and Matt and Chad and Stacy and Stabwit and Joel and Heath and Paloris. There's a guy named Paloris. How cool is that? Good morning. How's it going, guys? Happy to be here. Welcome to the show. Episode 1. Damn, I should know this. 153. That's right, we have contact. Sorry. 153, we have contact. I'm assuming I have audio. Let's see if my good friend, yep, my good man, Josh has checked in. The chat is there. Susan's there. Hi, Hugh. Hi, Susan. Nancy, Rona. Hey, everybody. More in mangoes, says Step. Damn it, James, says Bullet Bears. How's it going, Oz? To Kieran, France. Tease is in the car listening. Good to have you there, my friend. Mère des Moths. Bonjour, Monsieur Letru. Bonjour. Ode. Oh, the moth. She's such a wonderful creature. She finds ways to find the flame. The flame that some of you fear. Not Mère des Moths. No. Mère des Moths embraces the light, and so should you. Guys, we're going to do a show today. And we're going to do a show about contact. About contact. And when I'm talking about contact, I'm talking about our experience of what contact is. Someone, and I'm sorry when I'm saying someone because I actually know who said this. I just can't remember right now who it was, but someone asked a question yesterday about what are ET encounters, and I thought we'd talk about that. And I wanted to talk about this book again. I've mentioned this book to you guys in the past. It's called Wonders in the Sky. It is by Jacques Vallée and Chris Obick, and it is unexplained aerial phenomena, objects from the antiquity to modern times. And the reason why I like this book is because it is describing every single story that it could find in symptoms of someone contacting or being contacted by something that was not normal. And normal is even a kind of a faulty word, I think, right now. So even to use that is kind of bad. But we're learning what normal is, right? Normal is 19 box cutters. Normal is there are 2 political candidates, and that makes sense to me, right? That's what we call normal, and that's not normal. There's nothing normal at all about that. But what are all these contacts? All right. So on one hand, you can just dismiss them all. You can actually use. There's a word that we've created that's not a real word. A word that literally doesn't actually have a scientific proof or meaning to it. And we can assign this word like cellophane, and that word is hallucination. We could just say that's a hallucination. And by doing that, you would grab that word and wrap it in the word hallucination, and now it can't hurt you. It doesn't mean anything. You can dismiss the entire thing. You can put it on the shelf, way back there, right there. And all the experience that is weird, you could just call it hallucination. And this gives you the ability to apply the melanin. Your amygdala figures out, hey, what was that word? Hallucination. Let's call this a hallucination. I'm not talking about what the thing. I'm saying if this other person that's this thing that's scaring me because they're seeing something, I want to call that hallucination. And you're going to be allowed to dismiss it. It's going to help you function. That's actually a safety mechanism. It's like an airbag built into your cockpit. Hallucination is an airbag built into your cockpit. And you're allowed to launch this airbag, and you will be safe. Anything that scares you, that you see, that you perceive, that you don't want to perceive, you can simply just say isn't real. And clinical psychologists do this. Anyone in the healthcare industry, anyone using the DSM-5, anyone pretending to have credentials has been unleashing this hallucination phenomenon onto the public as if it's science. It's sickening. It's sickening. In fact, my last friend, who was a clinical psychiatrist, used to tell me, James, we didn't believe those people because they couldn't give us facts. They couldn't say, well, tell me exactly what the voices told you. And if they couldn't tell me verbatim, James, I just dismissed all that shit. I just dismissed it all. And I is like a top-tier psychologist. He's paid to dismiss shit. And he's providing that framework that so many people need to dismiss, wrap in cellophane what's happening. But the truth is so much older than that. The truth goes way, way, way back. And what I like about this book is it goes way, 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 way back. What I like about the reason why it goes back so far is because you are going to see how the culture, costumes, dresses, the phenomenon that you see. And that as you go through and hear these stories, it will be apparent. Okay, that's gross. Yup, choppy audio. Anyone else have choppy audio? I'm getting... okay, Seabear, these are like good tribe people telling me. Let me know what's going on. The sound is messing up. Okay. I wonder if it's the stream. I wonder if it's the stream. Don't you knock over my coffee. Sound is bad. I'm not sure. It sounds like a cord is loose. Choppy too. I'm gonna... Mike? it back in. I've unplugged my mic and plug it back in. Sounds like physical audio connection. Not completely bad, but noticeable. Thanks, guys. Bit choppy, but tolerable. That's cool. Hey, guys, tell me if the music is choppy. I'd like you to tell me if the music's choppy. Hello there. I'd like you to tell me if the music is choppy. I'd like you to tell me. There. Sounds good now. I did unplug and plug it back in, Guy Bear. Sounds better now, says Nate Hinksman. Sounds fine. No, maybe you're just hallucinating, says Unipalm Bear. Oh, I love it. Never, it did chop. Seems fixed. Perfect. Tricky. Guess a little. Nope. Music is fine. Fine. Perfecto. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Could have been my chord. Sounds great, says Fiona B. All right. So, thanks, Brandon Bonanza. Appreciate it. All right, not choppy. Okay, you guys let me know, okay? Okay, because, yay, what a good show. We don't want to be chopping broccoli, says RJ Maka. All right. Gregory May, stop that. Music is always much louder than your voice. Gregory, I just started playing music like 4 fucking episodes ago, and I spent it loud an hour and a half last night adjusting all my levels. Have you sure that that's happening right now? Are you sure that the music is always, like, since the dawn of time, Gregory? Since we incepted fucking life itself and invented language, that you were there going, and Jameseth, his audio is always too louder than his voice. Sorry, being a little harsh, but come on. It has to be. In fact, I lowered it right when we started. I took it down half. Then someone had to have heard that. You can't say it's always that way. Yeah, shut your whore mouth, Gregory. Shut your whore mouth. Okay, I'm going to do some reading now. Summer 1360. England and France. Farmcat, if that was directed at me, you are get the fuck out of here, dude. Time out for you. I'm supposed to do this. This is what's called funny. All right? If you're going to be telling people, oh, you can't be getting calm down, James. All right, let's just watch out who we're talking about. I get to act like this. This is actually part of the show. All right? Yeah, thank you, Joshua Reisman. Or maybe, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. I'm just going to read, all right? Thank you. Hi, Jax. I'm glad you're enjoying this. Summer 1360, England and France. Armies and towers in the sky. And in the summertime of this year, in flat and deserted places in England and France, and often visible to many, there suddenly appeared 2 towers, from which 2 armies, one of which was crowned with a warlike sign, the other was black. And a second time the warriors overcame the blacks, racist, and returned to their tower, and the whole vanished. That was 1360. All right. So in 1360, you're seeing towers and you're seeing men, right? You're seeing marching men coming out of there. Okay. You're not seeing UFOs. You're not seeing shiny ships. All right. Thank you, Sunburst Bear. Best show on earth. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Winter 1394, England. Another wheel. According to Raphael Holinshed's landmark chronicle of British history, a wheel or barrel-shaped object appeared in several areas of England. A certain thing appeared in a fire in many parts of England every night. This fiery apparition, oftentimes when anyone went alone, it would go with him and would stand still when he stood still. To some it appeared in the light of a turning wheel, burning. To others as round as the likeness of a barrel, flashing out flames of fire at the head. To others in the likeness of a long burning lance. Whatever it was that caused such an impression on the people of England, it does not seem meteoric in nature. All right, that was 1394. They're seeing fire, they're seeing elements is what I'm trying to point out. Okay, they're seeing elemental things, fire, plumes, clouds. 1394. We're getting there. 1465, 19th of February. From the note of 2 minutes, don't worry about it. There are many signs in the air in the same month, always in the morning at daybreak. At the first hour of the 19th of the month, a kind of great flaming ship appeared in the air towards the and it appeared again in the 20th and on the 21st. Not at the same time, later. So in 1465, you were starting to see the first sightings of ships, of crafts, actual crafts in there. Okay? And before that, you were seeing elements, fiery elements. Is the mic still okay, guys? Hallucination causing choppy sounds. Do you have your phone near your mic? You have a sporadic mic error. Damn it. Should I stop? I can stop. I could, let me know. Okay, Seabear, tell me what to do, buddy. I can't hear because I can't hear this. But if it's bad, I don't want to give you guys a bad show. I want to give you guys a good show. Sounds like a short. Yeah, I definitely can't fix it now. But, no, keep going. Not really. It's still intermittently choppy. Man, that sucks. Let's see. Test one, test one, test one. So, did you guys say this? The audio was also choppy? Was the audio also, when I was playing music, was the music also choppy, or was it just the mic? I'm jiggling that cord, Jim. Oh, you mean the mic cord, Jim? Yeah, I'll try that one. All right, I'm gonna keep going. So it's all fine with me. Chat seems to be more upset. Okay, thanks, OKC. All right. We'll work on that, guys. We'll work on that, all right? No, just the mic. That's good to know. Thank you, Timmy. You know, I don't mind stopping the show because if we're going to make the show better, great. I definitely want to make the show better. And I know it used to be a joke where we'd say, anyway. All right. So, as we've seen, what I'm trying to convey that these phenomenon are growing in technology. We get better at them. They're growing in technology. In fact, this is one of the illustrations of someone describing what are they? A wheel in the sky. A wheel in the sky. And these go all the way to China. These go like these reports go back all the way to like the 14th dynasty. They go all the way to China. And in China, before you're seeing wheels, before you're seeing shapes, you're seeing dragons. You're seeing long, slender dragons. You're seeing cranes, giant golden cranes, flying cranes that would pick people up and take them away. And what's interesting about the phenomena is that as you're seeing these things slowly gain in technology, as we gain the wheel, as we gain the carriage, as the horse carriage is invented, so too is the chariot carriage. Before, when we had chariots, it was a chariot in the sky. The technology itself is a vital part of the belief. It's a vital part of what's been injected into the mind. And that, my friends, is crucial. It's a crucial thing that we keep missing, that we keep missing when we try and understand each other. And it really comes down to this idea of the technology of belief, which we've talked about a lot. But no one is actually working on the technology of belief because they're working on the furniture. The furniture. This is the name of the book. We're getting lost in the furniture. It would be like if you were a foreign entity from another realm and you were to enter this realm and to look at all the people and you were to claim that everything that they were to look at me and go, that living being right there, everything about him is his shirt and his hat and his pants. Everything about what he does, what he can do, is he is the shirt, he is the pants, he is the hat. What I'm trying to get at, this might not be the best analogy, is that what he does is a function of his clothing, not of the person inside. And that's what we do with belief. We're doing that. We've been doing that with belief since day one. We do that in medicine. We do that in war. We do that in religion. We do that in psychology. We do that in our own fucking health, our own body. And we've talked about this before. In fact, I'm going to talk about it. It'll be my one of my presentations at Flattoberfest, October 24th. I want you to come to that. I want you to see what we're going to talk about because we are we are breaking down this. We're looking below the uniform, and we're finding belief for what it truly is. And this book is showing me that too. Oh, come on! Why is there no camera now? Oh, man, I'm just getting killed over here. Now the squirrel cam's out. Come on, man! I tell you guys, I guess it's just one of those days. What pants? Exactly, Analog Bear. I don't have a squirrel cam for you. That stinks. All right, he'll come. You know he comes up here and gets them. You know he does. Let's put one right there. See if he gets it. All right. Anyway. As we advance in culture, so too does the uniform that we use to place these phenomenon in. Chariots, dragons, wheels, craft. Now, when these crafts started, it was about the 14th century. I'm sorry. When you first started going inside crafts, this is a big deal. Okay. The text reads, this is from, what was the name of this book? It was a weird book. Nestor's Chronicle and Chronicles of Bygone Years. The text reads, in the year 6600, technically, back then, 5500 BC was the beginning of time. So when he's saying 6600, he's saying 1100. This year, there's a very peculiar prodigy, 1100 AD, which is interesting how they deleted our time. This year, there was a very peculiar prodigy in Pulaski. At night, a great noise was heard in the street. Demons ran like men, as if someone went out of his house. He was hurt right away by an invisible demon with a deadly wound. No one dared to leave the house. Then the demons manifested themselves on horses in plain day. They could not be seen themselves, but only the hoofs of the horses and the sounds could be heard. They also hurt people in Pulaski and in the neighborhood. So it was said, there are ghosts killing citizens in Pulaski. These apparitions began in Drotschek. Around this time, a sign appeared in the heavens. A great circle was seen in the middle of the sky. And demons, shadows, ghosts, apparitions, fairy folk, lizard people, snake people, Tomas, the little serpent dudes, all of these phenomena, UFOs, all of these phenomena, you and me are calling clothing, where we are dressing them in a costume, and that costume is what we're calling it. Thank goodness, says the amygdala, that we're dressing them in, because if the amygdala could not tell the retina, hey man, put this in a chariot, your mind would not be able to comfortably comprehend what it's seeing. It wouldn't be able to even be comfortable enough to render it. And that is the Eye of Ra. This is what my presentation is about in Flattoberfest. That is October 24th, flattoberfest.com. That is what I would call the problem. I'm talking about problem when I mean like our own perception, how we're seeing things. I don't even know if this is going to freaking work, but hopefully I can draw. Okay. Hopefully I can draw. I want you to, actually we're going to go to thoughts here. I'm going to draw for a second here because I'm going to show you something here. Okay. Come here, buddy. You got it? So, we're seeing, here's Amy. That's your amygdala. Amy is deciding what she's going to send down Plato's cave, right, into the eye. And in order for the eye to see it, it is going to dress it in a costume. And what's underneath that costume is energy. Energy. And this is reality. You're freaking looking at reality right now. This is how reality works. And we don't know that. We don't even know that Amy's there. We don't even know that Amy's up there the whole time going, no, you can't show him that. He's going to freak out. His entire system is going to shut down. He's going to end up in shock. You can't show him that. That's what's happening all the time. And the reason why we keep getting so confused by stuff is because we keep confusing the costume for the reality. The costume. What do I mean? What is medicine, guys? What is medicine? This pill is a costume for energy. That energy is your body's ability to heal itself. The costume it needs to wear. The costume that Amy says, well, you're going to have to put that healing yourself in a costume because this guy's, he fucking has healing power. He doesn't want to be in charge of all that healing power. It's too much responsibility. He's going to faint from his vigilance. Do you understand? And so what we see as Sasquatch, what we see as aliens, what we see as UFOs, all these things that we see are costumes. Necessary costumes. And we're sold that they're real. Because we're sold that they're so real, we apply medicine to the costume that we see. And this entire thing is built off belief, which means we will never be able to give credit to the actual energy behind the costume because we're living in this fantasy world where the costumes are real. And this book fucking proves it. Because it's showing you the exact same energy from the 11th century until today. It's showing you the progression from BC all the way until today about why people are seeing energy, but it's always dressed in different clothing. It always changes its costume as it moves. And it changes its costume because Amy is telling you. Amy's telling you. Look, put on this cloak and then you can go out on stage. Why, Amy? Because your ass is showing. You can't go out on stage showing that ass. You can't. This is a PG-13 theater. And so we're put it in a costume, and the entire audience is convinced that costume is a character. And it has to be convinced because it's the only way we could feel comfortable. It's the only way we would play with that. It's not a squirrel. It's not. That is an archetypal energy. It's like a will-o-wisp, but much more advanced. What is a will-o-wisp? Most of these accounts that you see in this book, a lot of them are orbs. A lot of people see orbs all the time. And personally, what I think an orb is, a will-o-wisp is, there's a place called Brown Mountain. It's maybe 20 minutes away from here. And there's all these famous Civil War songs called the Brown Mountain Lights. And you can go there. It's a Linville Gorge. It's this massive crevice where all these rocks are sticking up. In fact, the mountains here, the Grandfather Mountain where I live, is covered in white crystal. It's just teeming with energy. And we'll make soup. We'll go out and sit and watch the Brown Mountain Lights sometimes. And what we see is exactly described in this book in 1796 and later in 1842 and later in 1916. Over and over and over again in this book. The exact same thing that I saw is in this book. And it's called a will-o-wisp. It's an undulating ball of light. Now, don't worry, that's a costume too, but just hear me out. I think that the ball of light is no costume. I think that James has hacked his belief where he's convinced Amy that I don't need to see the costume. And Amy's like, oh, okay, I'll do that. And she's done that for people. I've been age verified. She knows I'm good for it. She's going to show it to me. Now, it could be that ball of light is a costume. Okay, I just want to say it. It could be. It could be that the entire time these are fucking Wookalars. That all this energy is actually Wookalars, and they're pretending to be will-o-wisps, they're pretending to be aliens, they're pretending to be whatever else. I'm fine with that, okay? I'm fine with that. Because it doesn't matter to me, because you're understanding. I have Ra. What I'm trying to explain to you is a function of reality. This is the quintessential technology of reality. The mechanics of reality is what I just described to you. But you have crawled down into your place cave, and you were seated in your cockpit of your retinas. Most of us are. We are seated in our retinas. We sit down there. Our privilege point, right? The record where you focus and render the world is down in our retinas. It's not back up behind Amy. Amy doesn't even tell you what's behind her. Amy's job is to hide the projector room from you. The director, the dude who's running that show. It's her job to shield you from that. And the reason why it has to shield you from that is because that pineal gland, that center point, that 0 point consciousness is your pineal gland. 0 point consciousness is your pineal gland. And it's in the direct center of your head, the king's chamber, between two lobes. And that thing is so deeply seated in you, in your consciousness itself, and in who you are, that your neocortex, what you think is you, what you think is you, cannot even fathom it. And the closest analogy I can come to is you've been watching a movie, a 2-hour movie, 3-hour movie, an epic, stupid movie, but you don't know why, but you watched it. And then you came out of the theater, and it's 2 PM. And you have no idea. The entire movie was underwater. It was dark and green, whatever. And you open the door, and the sun is just killing you. And that's what's behind Amy. And when you have a near-death experience, Amy gets out of the way. She's like, holy shit, I think you're about to die. And she backs up and is like, I'm gonna let you see everything now. And she realizes that seeing all that is ending you. And the reason it ends you is because you is someone in the watching costumes. You're down in this theater, this retinal theater, rendering video card for God, right? Rendering triangles for God. And you can back out of that. We are working on that in the dojo. We can back out of that. And the first way we back out of that is we stop having a positive or a negative feeling about energy itself, about electricity. We turn evil and good back into adjectives. And when we do that, a flood of compassion pours forth. And it allows us to see things that we could not see before. Things that were too uncomfortable for us to see before. We can now use compassion to render that truth. And it changes us phenomenally. We step away from the people that lie to us. We step away from the people that lie to themselves in your presence. Step away from the victims, the victimhood. We rise up out of that Plato's cave. And we go meet Amy for the first time. And we understand what Amy's job is. If you don't know what Amy is, it's the amygdala. And we learn her, we ask her, what is it you do exactly? And she tells you, well, I use melanin and dopamine. And I secrete this melanin and dopamine in certain places inside your retinal chambers, and I literally block out light. And that light has certain information in it, James, and you just don't know it yet because you think light is just light. But light is truly information. And By you wanting information, you're creating a contract, an asynchronous connection with a website called Light, with a website called Truth. And you're logging onto that truth and you're giving it your credentials. And it's able to download that truth to you. But your bandwidth is 1700 baud. Bing, bing. And you're doing the best you can. And Amy sees that your modem is 1700 baud, and she's like, there's no way I'm going to live stream a video to James. In fact, I can't even send this guy an MP3. I can't even send him a meme yet, because that is a lot of pixels, and it's going to take him way too long to get that. What can I send James on steady bandwidth, says Amy, that he can function in this world and just get shit done? He's an infant. He's 7 minutes, says Amy. I can't give him the full throttle. That'll kill him. Sorry, electric sheeple. I'm going to get this worked out. It sucks because this is a great analogy. And every time I read the chat, it's just fucking punching me in the stomach. Because I'm so sorry. I can't just stop the stream right now and fix the mic, though. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. As we start to get to know Amy better, she's upgrading our connection. We don't freak the fuck out. The last time Amy tried to send you a meme, your great-great-great-great-grandfather burned a fucking witch. That's what happened the last time she tried to send you a meme. And we're getting there. We're getting there. Did you know that herbalists are like allowed to live now? That we have a society now where herbalists are allowed to live? It's great. Herbalists, thank you. Those of you who are not burned, thank you. Those of you who survived the fire, Rachel, thank you. We survived. It's showing you how rudimentary, how piss poor, not in a bad way, but how rudimentary, piss poor, and elementary you are inside your Plato's cave. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fantastic. You need that for rudimentary shit. You need that when you're 5. You need that when you're 10. You need that when you're 40. You need that all the time. In fact, most of us will live our entire life in that first attention. What is your first attention? Your senses. And I encourage you to be in your senses, don't I? That's all I do every day is say, sink deep in your senses, shut off the shame outside of you so you can listen to the shame inside and you can learn from it. I say that all the time. But second attention, third attention, fourth attention, like the Dogons say, you can sink deeper. And when you sink deeper, you find that Tartini tone that we talked about in that third note. You find that you're able to see things that aren't physically fucking there. You render auras in real time inside your Plato's cave. Why? Because you have a relationship with Amy now. You don't have a relationship with your eyes, with her shadows on the wall. You have a relationship with Amy. And you're like, Amy, who's telling you this information? And she's, I don't want to tell you. He's like, I know, Amy. But I would like to know. This is my body. And Amy says, it's the pineal. It's the pineal. And that's your 0 point because you could only see all of your data from a central location. You could only do that. We've talked about this, but when you have all these things where different senses are pulling in information at different points in time, trying to sync that up without an internal clock is going to be impossible. Guys, you do not have an internal clock. You can tell me that the pineal gland, it distributes serotonin in a cycle, which allows you to go to bed. Yes, that's a cycle. It's not a clock. And that cycle is a circadian rhythm, isn't it? It's not even coming from you. Technically, that's coming from outside. You fight it when you stay up at night. So you can't tell me that you have an internal clock. You can't. And the reason why you don't have an internal clock, check this out. is because God's fucking brilliant. Because his blueprints are so badass he didn't need one. And you know, the only way that you could have all these different senses and not have an internal clock is if every single sensation that you could possibly experience came through a central place. One microphone. One microphone. One 0 point. One center. One stargate. And just as you were born through a stargate, you too are a stargate for consciousness. And you open and close that consciousness with your partner Amy. She is there helping you guide that ship. And she will open or close that cervix depending on how comfortable you are, on how much you want or don't want that. Dilation, we talk about that. And I firmly believe that people are not here to be happy. We're here to be dilated. And some of us just have such a rudimentary form of dilation that we only associate dilation with happy. Because when we're happy, we tend to feel a little dilated. And that's good. That's great. We're getting there. And we're going to get there even faster if we stop believing in costumes. That's the key. We have to stop believing in costumes. Let's read a few more. I'm going to come back to that one because that one is kind of the kicker. Here's one. Yeah. Danger! Danger! We're about to suggest that a long time ago there was a God that wasn't called Jesus. Similar imagery can be found under the guise of the journey of the soul in the mithric Paris Codex, where we are told that the great god Helios Mithra ordered that it be revealed by his archangel that I alone may ascend into heaven as an inquirer and behold the universe. Resurrection. It is impossible for me, born mortal, to rise with the golden brightness of the brilliance. Resurrection. Draw in breath from the rays, drawing up 3 times as much as you can, and you will see yourself being lifted and ascending to the height, so that you may seem to be in midair. The text goes on, the visible gods will appear through the disk of gold, and in similar fashion, the so-called pipe, the origin of the ministering wind, see it hanging from the sun disk like a pipe. And when the disk is open, you will see the fire and the fiery doors shut tight. Then open your eyes, and you will see the doors open in the world of gods, which is within the doors. An invocation follows. Hail, O guardians of the pivot. Hail, O guardians of the pivot, O sacred and brave youths, who turn at one command the revolving axis of the vaults of heaven, who send out thunder and lightning of earthquakes and thunderbolts. Now, this exact same report says similar beliefs appear throughout the American Indian cultures. Souls and ghosts ascended the space between the worlds, while some humans, through ecstatic experience, were able to transport themselves to the other worlds or bring them supernatural power. And if you buy this with me, if you and I contract under this whole idea, what I'm talking about, without the eye of Ra, the next time you meet someone who believes in UFOs or Sasquatch or anything that you personally experienced, you now have a beautiful context to relate to them. Because what you're doing is that they're showing you, hey, I saw energy last night that Amy would never normally show me, but she dressed it up like a Sasquatch, and I saw it. And that becomes a real conversation. You don't have to pretend that you saw it. You don't have to even extend any trust. You literally can just hear that they're having a beautiful experience. They're explaining that beautiful experience to you. And when we start to see the world this way, the only way you're going to be able to see the world this way, though, is if you stop taking it personally that reality is not as objective as they told you. And the reason why reality is not as objective as they told you it was is because of the codex. And this is where so many buttholes get lost when they're listening to me. I think I'm trying to say that means everything's relative. And costumes are relative. So stop fucking pretending that they're not. Stop suggesting to me that we can take energy and dress it in a different costume. It can be Jesus one day, it could be Christian another day. It could be a UFO one day, it could be a demon the next day. And the only reason you're hung up on that is because you bought into this germ theory Zionism that there can be only one. That there could be only one reality, there could be only one right. Sold on the idea that there are fucking things called facts out there. And facts is a majority of Amy's that have all gotten together and said, yep, we're going to render this as a UFO or an anal probe. Holy fuck. Rendered it as an anal probe. Now, some of you might be asking, well, James, why do they all render it as a probe? And this is the perfect exercise. Perfect exercise to use your powers of simulation. Okay, James, let's do it. Let's talk about anal probe. Let's discuss anal probe, James. Why would someone feel that they were anally raped after an experience with an energy that was too big for Amy to show them the truth? And the answer is so clear. The answer, it gives yourself. It tells you the answer right there. It does. It's showing you. Amy said, because you were freaking out. You were freaking out, but you wanted this experience, James. You invited this experience in. And after you invited this in, you didn't realize that you invited it in. You wanted to feel victimized by this. You got afraid of it. It freaked you out. And all of us have had this. You've had a bully in school. Someone says something that made you mad. Some dude's got road rage. He gets out of his car. He's banging on your window. Who the fuck knows? You see this all the time. Someone gives you energy that you're just like, holy fuck. Is this guy nuts? Is this guy okay? And he gives you that. And you accept it. Man, this guy's hungry. It's like the sword from the stone. The peanut from the... So what if the anal probe that people experience is an experience with pure raw energy that scared them? It scared them so bad that they weren't able to pull themselves out. And all Amy could do was just like make the energy stick something up his ass. That'll make him feel bad. Yeah, I know it's nuts. I know it's nuts. She's saying it makes you feel better because she's trying to put it in context. She wants her pilot to have context so he can ground, so he can fucking find the ground again. It's the opposite. And the energy is so intense that it feels like a violation. And how would you, inside your costume, you're in a costume of a human, how would you feel violated in a very, very personal way? And the answer is you would render that like an anal probe. You would render that experience and you would feel that. It would feel like that because it gives you context. It gives you a complete costume to associate or disassociate from that experience so you can make sense of it. And our world is full of people that have these experiences. They don't know how to process it because they're living in costumes. And what do? We say, well, you're full of shit because I don't believe in aliens, or I don't believe in Sasquatch, or I don't believe in this, or I don't believe in that. And why do we do that? Because Amy's like, you don't want to hear this. If you don't want to see it, no problem, man. Just call it hallucination. And this Eye of Ra stuff goes in the ears, my friends. Your ears have melanin too. And I would like for you to pretend for a moment that what Amy's really doing is putting a screen, like a screen door, to keep the bugs out. And that screen is letting in smaller particles, so you can get some breeze, you get some light, but it's not letting in the bigger particles, the particles that could sting you, like wasps, bees, mosquitoes. It's got that screen. And what happens when that screen's up is that butterflies cannot get in. The beautiful butterflies, the moths, no matter what they smell like, the moths, they can't get in because that screen's too tight. And those moths and butterflies are gnosis, information, truth. But Amy stopped that. Amy's like, we can't show that. For good reason. She's looking out for you. That's the thing. She's looking out for you. She's lying to you, and she's looking out for you, which is completely counterintuitive to everything we've ever talked about. There's some of us in the dojo that are like, no, if you're deceiving anyone, it means you're bad. Looking at you, Kieran. And meanwhile, I'm telling you that Amy is in your head the whole time, just like, holy shit, no, we need to bring in the brain. The whole time. And then Amy finally lets go. It's like, I'm out. And maybe that experience is actually what kills you. Is that coming back, that returning to it? Maybe that's actually what does it. I don't know. Maybe. It's hard to say. Now, if we take these cases, let's go back to paranoid schizophrenia. Let's go back to Jerry Marzinsky. All the talk done. I've written a lot on him in my books. He's got a new book out. You should check it out. He's going to describe to you that the very, very days of paranoid schizophrenia, the hallucinations, which Jerry knows is bullshit too, by the way, begin auditorily. Which means that Amy is like Kevin, paranoid schizophrenic Kevin, has enough aperture, enough dilation where he is seeing energy that others are not. But Kevin finds this uncomfortable, but he still wants it. He's asking me for the ticket. And me as Amy, I want to give him that ticket. So I'm just going to let it seep in through his ears. I'm not going to show him anything yet. I'm going to let it seep in through his ears. And now Kevin is able to hear in his head, but he does not see anything. He's beginning to process what Amy's telling him. And Amy's only letting that slip just enough to see if he can take it. Can he take this? Yeah, he's doing okay. And maybe Amy will try and show him a shadow figure, but no, he's not ready for that. And as paranoid schizophrenics get worse is a very relative fucking term here, by the way, as they become more perceptive, as they become more dilated, become more comfortable with what Amy can show them, Amy will go so far as to show dark, shadowy figures to these paranoid schizophrenics. Shadows, not bodies, shadows. And believe it or not, there's a third stage. Ask Jerry Marzinsky. There's a third stage where these hallucinations are so that they have colored eyes, that they have red or green colored eyes. And there's a Chickamauga battlefield where I grew up. There's a legend of green eyes, a Civil War soldier. There's all these countless stories of these red floating eyes or these green floating eyes. In fact, crystal meth heads, 2 or more will be having a meth party. Would you call it a meth party? Like, do they bring snacks? I don't know. But they're having like a meth party, and they begin to see the same entity. They begin to see the same energy. They're co-creating the reality. Their two Amy's have seen. If I see what that guy's Amy sees, this guy will be comfortable too. I'm going to show him the same thing. And we find this harmony where we can see things. We find the harmony where we can classify all this energy. Hey, what do we call them all? Craft. Alien craft. And we started to do that. It began with chariots. It began with dragons and cranes, chariots, carriages, wheels, spinning wheels. This is the progression. And discs. And when it got to discs, they were always black. And then suddenly those discs, just like the shadow figures, started showing you red and green eyes. These discs started showing light. As you read through this book, you'll see. They started showing lights on them. And as these lights started to show, all of a sudden these hallucinations, people could get inside these crafts. And I want you to think about the symbology, the energy. People of the dojo, please hear this because this is some deep shit. Energy itself of that craft. Underneath that craft is that's the costume, is the craft. That is the energy. And as we get more comfortable with seeing this energy, not only do we hear, not only do we see lights, but now we're able to permeate inside that, which means we are making contact with that energy because we're finally feeling comfortable enough, unless we open up, I desire contact, I am not afraid. Woo, something takes you up, and then all of a sudden you realize, you know what, I'm kind of afraid. And then Amy's going to start going, holy shit, I thought he wanted to do this. And she's like pulling on these levers and shit and trying to block stuff out and stuff. And all she can come up with is the emergency cord of butt plug probe. Tell him it's a butt plug probe. I don't know what else to fucking do. This guy said he wanted to see it, and now he doesn't. Do you know how hard it is to do this? In the medulla oblongata, the frontal lobes, the occipital lobe. They're looking at Amy going, I know, it's hard. But we trust you, Amy. We trust you. And that could literally explain every experience you had. It could explain near-death experience. It could explain visitation. It could explain ghosts. It could explain electricity. So much of this is about electricity. Jerry Marzinski, who's never seen any kind of phenomenon, the only phenomenon that Amy allowed Jerry Marzinski to see was auditory. And he was sitting in a room with a patient. And when he had that patient was so mad, so angry, so upset that he was able to create a spark. This arc that went over Jerry's head and into a metal trash can. This very, very loud, caustic arc. You can hear it in the interview. We talked about this. And that's the most that Jerry's Amy has ever been able to see. Yeah, I'll show you this. That's the most he could see. And it changed Jerry because from that moment on, he realized these are not hallucinations. There's something happening here. And guys, if you look in any kind of expert, these people, the clinical psychologists, the ones that are prescribing pills for a fucking living, it's a $7 billion a year industry. And they still can't find a chemical imbalance. There's not one chemical imbalance that's ever been. And we're still giving people drugs. Why? Because it's the costume for the energy. It's unlocking your body to say, I would like to not see this. As we can come to installing the belief in you that what you're seeing is not real. It's a final stopgap, the most inefficient thing you could possibly imagine. It's no different than taking a pool cue and expecting that to stop a 18-wheeler by sticking it in the spokes. That's how stupid it is. I'll tell you something, when you find people that have the credentials that are in that job, you know how far they were willing to go and carry that lie with them. You know that the people that have those doctorates, that have that experience, are the ones that were the most ignorant. The ones that were willing to pretend that that shit was real for the longest. And now what are they? The reality is so much simpler than they're telling you it. They're telling you that, oh, well, the problem is you have a receptor. You have a receptor in your head, and it's just got a little bit wonky. And we're going to give you some chemicals, and it's going to make that wonkiness fix itself. It's the most naive, sickening thing you could possibly imagine. And these are the white coats. These are the dudes. These are the dudes we seek out for help. And they're the ones that tell every single that's suffering hallucination. Well, unless you could tell me exactly what they said, it's a hallucination. Sorry, I misphrased that. See, I don't think that you have a hallucination, it means you physically hear something. And these dumb say, well, you can't say verbatim what it was, it didn't what they mean. I think what's happening is your pineal's perceiving this shit. And Amy's doing her best to go, how do I render this? And she's a beautiful painter. Amy's a beautiful painter. She knows what to send to your ears. She knows what to send to your heart. She knows what to send to your taste. She knows what to send to your eyes. She knows how to render the experience the best for that day. She's really good at it. She's great at it. And when you start to work with Amy, your imagination starts to come back because Amy will allow you to render things that are necessary. Did you know dogs have a better relationship with their Amy than you do? Dogs have more visualization power than you do. They are visualizing smell in their eyes. They are seeing smells from 100 yards away in color in their eyes. And they have rods and cones too. It's not exactly the same, but it's close enough. They are rendering smell. They're rendering it. Amy. Hey, could you show me the nice quaff of fart over here? Because this guy just farted in this chair. And can you show a nice quaff of this over here? And Amy's like, no problem. No problem, dog. Because you can take it. You can handle this information. Use this filter, and you will find that every single experience that anyone ever shares with you, you can meet them in communion and have a communication about that because you're looking at the energy underneath. You're undressing the world. You're undressing the world. Some would call that raping, which is a good time to transition. My friends, I'd like to have an airing of grievance, please. I'd like for all of you that have grievances, especially the 5 that have downvoted this video already, to use this time constructively and tell me what it is about me that you think is such a problem. Anything you think that I've misspoken on, anything that you think that I've gotten wrong. If you'd like to accuse me of being loose, a shout out to Aaron right now, who went on a live stream yesterday telling everyone, well, James, the reason why he didn't come is he was trying to do a Luciferian festival. Fucking asshole. Thanks a lot, Aaron. But this is a great time for any kind of other grievances. If you have a grievance, it's the time. Owen's wife is Amy. Yeah, I think his wife is named Amy. But the amygdala is also named Amy. And, yeah, there's more things in the world than Owen Benjamin. Doesn't look like it, though, in the chat. A lot of that chat. Mike says to you, that's a great grievance, you. I agree with that grievance. How dare you, says Dreamy Dudes. How dare I, indeed, Dreamy Dudes. Good to see you. Thanks for the suggestion yesterday. That was you, Dreamy Dudes. It was you. You're the one who made this entire episode possible. There's Star Sorcerer. Levels are terrific today. Thanks, Chad. I really was working on that. Thanks to Jason, too, for helping me. Can I get out of timeout now? Yes, Denny. You can get out of timeout. I will unblock you now. Thank you. Aaron, don't be that guy. Exactly. OKC Bear. Jimmy, thanks, Ariel. Windhammer, great show, brother. Thanks, Timmy. Kieran, yeah, it is salacious, but a really good product. Okay, I think he's talking about something else. Bobby, he's still hung up on that, huh? Bears like you anonymously. You're so right, Nephilis, and that's great with me. I think, honestly, I'm pretty sure Owen watches the show. It keeps coming out of his language. Did you plug the mic into a different USB port than usual, or the scroll camera? No, but great question, JG. Great question. I actually think this mic does have a short in it. It used to have it a long time ago, and I just want you to know that I will be spending money on a new mic. So now's a great time to give me some super chats so I can get that mic back, tilt the mic back to put tension on the micro USB connector. Good grievance there, Steve. I'm actually not going to touch it right now so I don't fuck it up, but I hear you, man. I'll be working on that. Any grievances? Any more? We're shutting down the grievances now. Grievance, I'm pretty sure you were wearing pants. Okay, there we go. All right, no more grievances. Feels refreshing. Very, very refreshing. Guys, this Amy stuff, I want you to apply it to your relationship with God. I'm not about to tell you your relationship with God, but I would like for you to apply it to that relationship with God. I'd like you to apply it to your entire DNA line. I understand that energetically, you are simply the avatar on your entire totem pole. All of your ancestors are there. And I'd like you to use this idea of Amy, the idea that you yourself are in a costume. I'm not just talking about your clothing. I'm talking about the fact that you think that your skin ends where it does, and it doesn't. There's a plasma roots that are buried in the soil where your ancestors are. And there's these sprouts from your head that are the roots of your ancestors to come. Guys, hair is the roots of your ancestors to come, but you just can't see it yet. Because Amy isn't showing it to you. Don't get mad at Amy. I want you to thank Amy. I want you to realize how crucial it is. Because if Amy did a bad job, something like this would happen. And now I'm frozen. This peanut threw me off, man. It just threw me off, and I can't do anything else. Amy's stopping that from happening. She's preventing shock overload of shock, which shows you that we wanted a world that was completely overloading you. God wanted you to be in a world that was completely overloading you, and he wanted you to start out with a small, tiny aperture and slowly increase it over time. And that's beautiful. If that doesn't show you consent, if that doesn't show you that this entire place was built for you to grow, I don't know what else is. We got to stop talking shit about ourselves, this place, our energy, and the energy of others. Because once we do, this compassion thing opens up, and we're entering a whole new realm of Dojo Earth, my friends, where you can literally see the plasma around you. What we call air is plasma. We can't even see it yet. Guys, that shows you how blind we are, is that we can't even see it yet. This guy can see it. We're getting there. We're getting there. I'm going to get this mic thing fixed. It may not be by tomorrow. But I'll see. In fact, maybe I won't do a show tomorrow. I'm going to listen to the recording because I really want you guys to have a good show, a good experience here. I know I keep making these little mistakes and stuff, and I just want you to know I feel them. I'm just like, oh, I can't believe that happened. So I'm sorry about all the mic tricks today. I'm going to close this out. We got a great dojo today. All of you should have invites. If you're not a member of the dojo, please join. You can join us on Patreon right now for $90 a month, and that'll give you a free month in the dojo. You can check it out. We have great conversations about this. We're breaking into smaller groups soon. We've got moderators. It's a really cool experience for you. You can also join the dojo on jtrue.com. You can go there. You can sign up for the dojo for a year. You save a lot of money that way if you do it for a year. You can go there either way, Patreon or jtrue. There's really not an advantage either way. You can buy my books. If you were to buy my books, it would help me get more mics. Yep, new books coming out. Working on that. Looking forward to that. You guys, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I love doing this show, and I would only love it if you guys were there watching. So, because this squirrel, he never ever says, "Great show, James." Not once. I don't even think he listens to me. I'm starting to get the feeling that this guy is just there for the nuts. Guy Bear, I know you're here for that too. Oh, I was supposed to close the window so you wouldn't see me, but I changed scenes and it didn't have it. See, I'm getting better at this, guys. You guys have a great day. Remember the Alamo. Undress your energy and tell Amy thank you. Say, Amy, I love you, baby, but show me more. Spread your legs, Amy. Show me that cosmic stargate. I want to see more, baby. More. All right, guys, take care. Love you, Guy Bear.
Wake up alone, you fast close, reach for something.